Hi, Lori Morse here, and I wanted to talk about 5 capacities that you currently have that will help you stay on track better with your nutrition and up level your nutrition meal by meal. And the first one is decide ahead of time what your meals will be. Now, I tend to do this the night before for the next day. It doesn't mean I always make everything the night before, but I'm really clear based on what I know is in the refrigerator, what my meals are going to be. And then I also plan for a plan B. Like if I'm going to be out and about and or if I get too busy and life happens, then I just try to think a little bit ahead of time about a plan B. And I don't do this in any obsessive way, but just a thoughtful way, sort of a being prepared way. Because to me, nutrition deserves that. The nutrition that I would put in my body deserves that. The second one is a little bit similar, but it's more of an overarching plan that you're going to follow and that you're going to, you create like like a corral for yourself. Like I'll eat everything inside this corral and outside of the corral, that's not mine to reach for. So having very good clarity about what I will reach for that's inside my corral. For some reason, I'm seeing a horse in a corral in my mind's eye, so that's what we're talking about here. Um, and then it makes it really easy. It's when it comes time to make my choices, I choose from the variety that lives inside of my corral. So, and also just the idea of being really clear why feeling good every day, why being made whole every day through your nutritional choices matters to you. That tends to make creating and following a plan a little bit easier. The next one, number 3, is eat when you're hungry and not when you're not hungry. It's a very kind of almost silly thing to have to bring up, but I fall into this trap all the time. I'll be like, oh, was that a hunger pain? I think I need to eat, when really it wasn't a hunger pain, but I've already got myself convinced that that it was, and that I need to eat now or I'll die, which is ridiculous. But I mean, that's kind of like the fast-paced programming that ends up taking over my choices. um, but when I really truly eat only when I'm hungry, even if that's not so convenient, or even if it means, like, if I know, we all have dates or things that we're going to do with other people around mealtime, then I won't go to that place overly full and then eat more, unless of course I know that that food's not going to be very, very nutritious for me. Then I actually will go on the fuller side and just nibble on things that are more serving for me. But eating when we're hungry is very burdensome for our digestive system. We just don't have the energy to break the meal down when the signaling from our physiology is that that energy is actually tending to other things, and probably our last meal or the last thing we ate, which is why we aren't hungry in the first place. A normal hunger sort of comes on slower, and it doesn't drive us to feel like we want to eat the house necessarily. It's just like, yeah, I'm going to probably need to eat here pretty soon. More of an emotional hunger is, oh my God, I have to have this thing now, or oh my gosh, I have to eat now or I'll die. Where it's a little bit more dramatic. Those are more emotional hungers, which leads us to our fourth and our next capacity, which is, if you will ahead of time, I mean, this is what I do, is I make a list of things that I can do besides eating, so that if I feel like I'm in that emotional starvation place, then I can look at my list and I can do something else. And even if only 75 or 80% of the time it's effective, it's better than nothing. And I'm going to recommend or invite you to make that list when you're perfectly sated, when you're not hungry, so that you can actually think clearly about what some of those things can be. If you try to make that list in your emotional starvation state, it's not going to go so well. So that's number 4. And then number 5 is use your capacity to envision. I cannot tell you how many times this has saved me from going down rabbit holes. So I will see myself eating a meal that's very nutritious, and I'll see myself enjoying it, and I'll see myself stopping when I notice that my body is ready to be done, and feeling happy leaving wherever it was that I was eating, even if it's in my own home, and moving on to the next thing, feeling really good about all of those choices. If I see that ahead of time, it is much more likely that I will follow through with it than when I don't. Let me tell you a quick story. Years ago, I was driving home from work, and I just had, I'm a cookie, well, in my old days when I was eating sugar, I would eat bags of cookies. And so I'm driving home, and this vision of a bag, stopping off at the store and getting a bag of cookies was like taking over my mind. And I felt like, it's going to happen because it was so strong. And then I thought, let me just play with this here. And I thought, I'm going to see myself going home. And at the time, I was going to steam some vegetables. I think broccoli was involved. I can't imagine, I can't remember everything, but I saw myself doing that and sitting down and feeling perfectly happy and sated with that meal I knew that I was going to prepare for myself. Not stopping at the store, feeling really joyful to just bypass that. And that's exactly how it played out. And it was perfect. It worked like a charm. I didn't go to bed with a sugar hangover, and I didn't wake up with a sugar hangover. I woke up feeling vital and happy. And that one experiment taught me how powerful it is to actually see the outcome that I'd like to like live myself through, rather than being caught by a fish hook and going down the way I don't want to go down. It works both ways. I can't remember who says this, but the quote is, worry is seeing the very thing you don't want, which is sort of says a lot, right? If we see what we do want, then there's a much greater chance that we will walk ourselves right up to that and right through it. So those 5 things, and I'll type them out here too, but play with them and watch how they help you find your way to better and better choices every day nutritionally. Okay.